5 p.m. New York time on Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. Just to follow up on the New Zealand dollar news for the employment news. It has now come out, and it is a mixed bag. And so I want to just do a quick review of it. I made a couple of videos a few hours back on this, so you can go back and watch those for the pre-analysis. So the two headline pieces are right here. This being the employment change, which is the number of jobs created or the percentage of. So obviously higher is better. And remember, I was saying before they were expecting. Pieces are right here. Sorry, I'm listening to myself there. So remember what I was saying before. They were expecting a range on this from about 0.5 to the upside to negative 0.01 to the downside. It came in at 0, so below expectations. The unemployment rate, however, ticked down 0.2%. So that's a positive. Okay, so on the two headlines, we have a mixed bag. And if we dig a little deeper here, so we have that one. Okay, labor cost index, participation rate. This is the yellow I wanted to look at. 70.1 versus 70.4. So the labor cost, so the participation rate dropped slightly too. So the thing to remember about participation rate, guys, if you see unemployment rate drop, but participation rate also dropping, I'm very suspicious about that, because what happens is the participation rate are people that are participating in the labor market. So if they stop counting people, right? You stop counting people, then that is going to organically lower your unemployment rate, even if there are potentially, even if there's no this flat on the job creation, which it was, right? So the job creation came in at 0%. So there really was no growth in jobs. However, they reported a drop in the unemployment rate. Well, how can that be? Well, it's because your participation rate drops, and so you take those people that are not working out of the equation, and that's going to artificially decrease your unemployment rate. Okay, so it's a mixed bag, but I would say it's flat at best, and maybe slightly negative. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So the reaction that we got, of course, was pretty muted. So this is the Euro Kiwi. This is the one I was talking about earlier. You can see when the news came out, we spiked down, okay? And now we've come back to basically pre-announcement level. So I'm watching this very closely, guys, because like I said, I had this labeled as an ABC, and this could be the end of the ABC. It actually has finished this pattern. So if this is an A, and then we had a three-way move up for B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. So potentially, guys, this could be the end of the correction, okay, and that we'll see the Euro Kiwi go up from here for the larger wave 5 on the on this higher time frame on the daily, or the 12-hour in this case. Okay, so so let's keep an eye on that. Now the other problem is, guys, it's just the time of day, right? We're at 5 o'clock. We're at the changeover between New York and Asia, and we're going to see the spreads widen. We're going to see the volatility dry up. So I can tell you guys, which is probably part of the reason why nothing's moving right now, because of this, and it's probably not going to. So I'm going to keep an eye on this once the Asian session gets going, and certainly tomorrow morning during London, we could see some action here. But we may not. We may see this a little bit muted, or some really weird moves over the next several hours. You can see we just changed over to 5 o'clock, and you can see the market gap. See this little tiny green candle right here that just printed, and this is all because of the 5 o'clock changeover. So you can't you can't really rely on this right now. So so let me look at the Kiwi Canadian. This is the one I was talking about earlier, in terms of this triangle formation. And so we did spike up on the news. That was this candle right here. So again, in the previous video, I was suggesting whether this was an ABC and then we were going to go up, or whether this is a 1, 2, and then a 3. Okay, and then this is a correction to the move to part of the wave 3. which is right now is what it's looking like. So this was maybe the first leg down of wave 3. Then we've had an ABC up back to the 200 EMA, and now we're kind of struggling. So it's at kind of a, you know, an important juncture right now. Again, I'm not taking any trades right now. I'm just going to sit and watch. I may not take anything on this for quite a while, but that's the follow-up from it, guys. I just want, those are the two pairs really mainly I'm looking at. Let's look at the Kiwi Dollar. Yeah, this is the yellow and Kiwi Dollar again. You know, we spiked up at the news, and you know, again, if you look at this pair, you know, around the 8 or 12 hour chart, this still potentially could be a wave 4, and then we turn down for 5. But again, I'm not ready to pull any of these triggers right now. But interesting to look at. But that's the news, guys. Mr. Aquatic, for me, the best alternative is to buy the Aussie Kiwi now because I've confirmed with 2 technicals. What do you think? So let's look at the Aussie Kiwi. Yeah, I mean, this might not be a bad trade because, like I said earlier, we're seeing strength in the Aussie, and potentially if this Kiwi weakness follows through, this could be a really good trade. This is not a pair I look at very much, so it's not one I had looked at. But yeah, I mean, we see this move up. Let me just try to find a better time frame here. Yeah, maybe around the 2 hour. You know, we had a move up, correction, down, and then maybe an ABC back down again, right? Maybe, you know, ABC, and then market goes back up. We're approaching this 200 EMA right here. You know, on the 2 hour, it's actually went down and hit it. So yeah, that's definitely potential as long as it plays out with the you know, with the Kiwi weakness, and if the Aussie strength continues for, you know, at least another session. As I was saying earlier, I think longer term the Australian dollar is still bearish, but definitely got a boost on the RBA news and the bullishness from their statement last night. So yeah, might not be a bad might not be a bad trade. I don't know what technicals you use, but you know, like I said, it doesn't matter. You know, whatever works for you. So I tend to be an Elliott wave trader, but if your technicals are showing you that, and I think the fundamentals are on your side, at least in the short term. So again, though I will always preface this, I'll say it again right now: do not take any trades based on anything I'm telling you. You know, do your own analysis. And if your system says you should go long, then go long. But just, you know, looking at this, you know, right now as I'm speaking, I don't think that's a bad trade. Okay, to buy the Aussie Kiwi. It's not one I look at a lot. It's kind of an odd pair to me, and there's not a lot of pips with it. But on the flip side, it's a lower risk pair to trade too because it doesn't have a lot of volatility and pips associated with it. Just be careful with the spreads this time of day. You know, here's let's see here. You know, let's look at the Euro Kiwi right now. Spread is probably opened up on this. Yeah, I mean, look at the spread on the Euro Kiwi right now. It's 12. And this broker is pretty good too. Right, so just got to be careful trading right now, probably for at least the next half an hour. If you're not already in the trade, I wouldn't take it right now because you're going to probably be not get a good fill. The Aussie Kiwi, you know, even this spread is 8 right now. So just be cautious of just the time of day that you're trading. That's why I'm just going to sit and watch because things are kind of messed up right now. You know, around that changeover, there's a lot of volatility. There's not much liquidity, so the price tends to jump around. The spreads get really wide, probably for, you know, the next 30 minutes at least, and then things will settle back down, and then we'll see where we're at. And certainly during the London session tomorrow, we should see some follow through on this. So, anyways. Yeah, so that's it. So Mr. Aquatic, reading the rest of your name, CSGO and troll. I don't know what that means, but thanks for watching anyways, and I appreciate the question. I think it's not a bad trade. So anyways, guys, this will be posted on my channel either way, and hopefully you get to watch it in hindsight if you're not already watching. What else here? Well, let me just look at the pound Kiwi, although I'm not Not really too thrilled about trading this one long because the pound is still under a lot of pressure. But it's a great pair to trade if you can hit it right. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a mess. I'm not really interested in that. Kiwi Yen, let me just flip through some of these other Kiwi pairs here. Kiwi Yen, I mean, the yen has been hit hard by just kind of risk-on sentiment with the coronavirus fears kind of waning a little bit. But, I could see this being a wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn down for 5. But this has been really aggressive in this move up here. So we'll see what happens. Kiwi Canadian we already looked at. Kiwi Swiss, this is also kind of a risk trade too. Not as much as the yen, but the Swiss is also a risk currency. Yeah, not real clear, but I mean, look, if you want to talk about, I mean, this is in a downtrend. Clearly it's in a downtrend, so the bias still would be down on this. And like I said, we already looked at the Euro Kiwi and the Kiwi Canadian. So, anyways, yeah. So I guess I will leave it there, and appreciate you guys watching. So any comments, questions, drop them down below if you see anything else. And hope you guys enjoyed it. And if things develop, if I have time, I'll try to make another video just to kind of bring you up to speed of what's happening right now. But that's how I see it right now. Again, a mixed bag on the actual numbers. I still think it's neutral to bearish on these numbers because, again, we've got participation rate falling. Okay, you got participation rate falling and you've got unemployment rate falling. So these two really make me question. So this makes me question this, right? And we see this with U.S. data too, right? Because when you see non-farm payroll, you get participation rate data too. And if you see the participation rate again, if this falls, okay, then they're not counting these people even looking for jobs, and so this number drops. So organically, your unemployment rate is going to be affected because you're taking those people out of the equation. And so when you see flat job growth, but yet the unemployment rate falls, so how is that? Well, this is why, right? Because your participation rate has been reduced by 0.3% versus the previous reading. So that's why I'm a little bit cautious on this, on this. And so, like I said, the mixed bag is really not going to really help the market gain a direction. So it'll probably chop around for a while. But I think ultimately, unless there's some new data that comes out, we'll see the Kiwi probably come under pressure eventually, at least through the next couple of sessions. And remembering that Thursday during the Asian session we have Kiwi inflation expectations, so this is the next big thing to watch for the Kiwi, especially in light of this employment number. If this does turn out to put the Kiwi under pressure, this will be very important to watch. If this ends up disappointing or not improving, comes in at 1.8 or lower, I don't think they've put a forecast in here yet. This is just the previous reading. They may not do a forecast on this. That's why this is blank. But if this comes out, 1.8 or lower, that's going to feed into that the rate cut expectations going up for the Kiwi. Again, if there's follow through, I would expect potentially to the downside at least, and then revisit this again on Thursday when this inflation number comes out. So, but again, guys, do your own analysis. Be curious to see how it plays out. Like I said, I'm just going to sit and watch things for now. I'm not going to take any trades until at least later into the Asian session when things kind of settle down. If not, I'll be watching it early tomorrow during London. So, all right, guys, so that's it. I'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching.